Oh yeah, here we go again, it's the crew. Living it loud, living it proud, rocking with the truth. Holy Spirit in my pocket, always on the move. 30-minute miracle, got no time to lose. That's on God.
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 We just wanted to kick things off on a light note by introducing a quick talking point card. Now, here's the thing: the way talking point cards work, it's real simple. There's you pull out a card from a deck. It asks a question, and everybody just kind of takes a shot at answering it. Now, Emma herself has picked out the card for us today, so she'll go ahead and read it, and then whoever wants to take a stab at the answer goes first.
It says, if someone said to you, I don't believe in God, how would you answer?
Ooh. All right, I'll take it because I love this question. Simply for me, I always go back to, well, you have to put your faith in something, because even the atheist has a belief. And the belief that there is no God is still a belief, right? But if you just look around you and do an objective thinking about it, you would see that there is a God, right? Because the theory of, the Big Bang and that things just popped out of nowhere doesn't make logical sense, because we don't see things that were designed come out of an explosion, right? Like, you won't go to a junkyard, see an explosion, and then a car pop out. It doesn't work like that. Everything that you see, like when you see a building, it tells you that there's a builder. When you see a cake, it tells you that there's a baker. So if you look at just the world around you, you would see that this did not happen by chance, and that there is an intelligent creator behind all of it. Whether you're talking about the earth or our body, it tells you that there's a creator. And that's how you know there's a God. Not even, you don't have to read the Bible, just look around you and it will tell you that there's a God. And like I said at the beginning, at the end of the day, you're going to put your faith in something. So it's either you're going to put your faith that this great world that, if it was closer to the sun, it would burn up, or if it was further away from the sun, it would freeze. But instead, it's perfectly placed to have life exist on it. You're going to believe that happened out of an explosion, or that happened by God creating it. So at the end of the day, put your faith in one or the other, but you're going to have to believe something.
Dylan coming out with the theology and the apologetic talking points. I'm not disappointed. That was good.
The question makes me think of like two scenarios. So like, if somebody comes up to you and they say, I don't believe in God, how would you answer? Yeah, I agree completely with Dylan. Like, in the mission of trying to show them that there is a God, and then proving that by showing that there is creation, and obviously when you have creation, there's a creator. That's one way, but also there's like another scenario that comes to my mind where, like, I don't know, like, are you trying to convince them, or are you trying to show?
So you're coming from the point of view of, if I'm actually in a conversation with a person.
Yeah, like trying to convince them of God, or are they stating this to like get a rise out of you type of thing?
Yeah, because the question is asking, if someone said, it doesn't say, oh, if your mother said, or if a stranger said. So yeah. It's like,
it doesn't start off with saying, no, I don't believe you, there is no God. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where you feel the need to defend them using the word, or they're just stating that statement. Do you step in that way and say, well,
yeah, right, it's interesting.
I didn't think about it from the real life conversation aspect. I think at that point I would ask why. Why do you think that? Yeah. And go from there.
Yeah, because I was also thinking, like, I'm gonna come at it from the, okay, this is looking for me to answer it in a, like, what do you call it, an apologetics kind of point of view. But now that I reread the question, it's like, oh no, if I was in an actual room with a person who just kind of said, I don't believe in God, then yeah, you got to treat him like a human because
They are.
No.
I'm not just gonna dump. I'm not gonna, like hit him with a right hook of the argument the argument from design or the argument from the perfect design of the world or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm gonna work my way and maybe build a relationship with this person where they
Yeah.
find out what kind of posture their heart is taking towards
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
You definitely take it as an opportunity, like a door open
Right.
for conversation, and I think
Because no matter what, at the end of the day, no matter what a person says, I don't believe in abortion. I do believe in abortion. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. No matter what, a person's heart can always their mind can always
Yeah,
change.
definitely.
You know? That we base the principle of Christianity on that fact that a person
Transformation.
can be transformed.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, Jonathan, anything?
I agree. I was not thinking about the basically how it like as a conversation. But I do think it's important to like if you are approached that way to ask why. I think when people are given the floor of asking why, there's less of an argument. It's less likely that we get like an argument, but rather you can probably have a reasonable conversation. And for the Christian, if you're in that situation, I would say, be inquiring of them, because I think through those questions you are able to get at the root issue. Sometimes
There you
people
go.
are really the reason they're saying that is because of something that happened to them in church,
Yeah.
or because they grew up in a very religious household, and then it just like something bad happened, and then everything, and then like there's so many different reasons. So I think with that statement, there's a lot to uncover. So be the open-minded person to kind of initiate that conversation.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say we started this conversation, right? And it's become a reasonable, like, communication. Like, how would you approach, like, bringing that person to Christ? Because I know for a lot of, like, resources that we've looked into, we go through those questions, like, where do you see yourself going, to heaven or hell? And then you kind of bring the realization of,
You're
we're
talking
all
about
sinners.
evangelism.
Yeah.
Evangelism.
So, like, would you guys probably take it down that road? Like, let's say we went the route of having reasonable conversation. Would you go?
You mean like in the same conversation?
Yeah.
The same first
Well,
conversation?
down the line, yeah.
If I don't think I'm gonna see the person ever again, then yeah, I'll probably try. But if I think like, oh no, this person is actually like I go to the same school as this person, I'm gonna see them again, then no, I wouldn't do it in the first conversation because that's just not something that like that's a lot to drop on a person to begin with.
Mhm.
So let's say you're not going to see them ever again. Would you approach it with that strategy? Or in this day and age, how would you approach bringing them to
Okay,
Christ?
let's give it a shot. Let's say, for example, Emma, you're the one who says, I don't believe in God, right? And I'm like, why? And then you're like, oh,
Let
so-
her answer.
the church. Nah, but like, yeah.
I actually have a friend who doesn't,
Okay.
like she's an atheist and all that.
Gotcha.
And I was like, oh, why don't you believe in God or whatever? And then she was like, I feel like there isn't a God. We all have our different religions,
Yeah.
She's like, she believes that all religions are right. If we die, we're just gonna find out in the end.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
Interesting point. Dylan, I can hear your brain.
No, Jake, go ahead. Go ahead. You're absolutely right, though, but go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say, Jake. I do.
Oh, of course you do, Dylan. All right. So look, so they say like all religions are right.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it wasn't all that long ago that I myself had a encounter with a coworker in my old job about the same thing, and she would say, yeah, I just feel like all religions are saying the same thing, like Hinduism, all that stuff. It's all saying the same thing. Now, what wish I knew then that I know now is that I would bring up the point that just because things have, it's not the things that if, especially if we're talking about religion, it's not the things that make them similar that matter. It's the things that actually make them different are the things that you have to pay attention to, because then you'll find that they're actually not the same when you really look at the differences. I don't know why we somehow have tricked our brains into thinking it's that all religions are the same just because they have some similarities, and it's almost become like a cushion of comfort for people that says I don't actually have to do like some real like digging. I can just sit in my comfort of, no, they're all the same. They're all saying the same thing. Be a good person. Don't hurt other people, and do good works, and you'll get your way into heaven, right? Or peace or reincarnation, right? But just because the religions are saying similar things doesn't mean that they all believe the same thing. And that's one of the biggest things of why is Christianity so different from every other religion. What separates it? I have yet to find any religion that professes salvation comes first and then your works come after. Every other religion is you got to do the work and work your way and check your boxes of I'm a good person here, I'm a good person here, I'm a good person here, and then God or Buddha or whoever will see my good works and say, they are worthy of coming into my domain or whatever. That's every other religion, but nothing except Christianity says, no, I actually opened the door for you to come and be with me. And because of that, you ought to be the level of love that you receive from that, out of that, this love sacrifice is the motivator for my actions and for my good works. It's not that I have to do good works. I get to do good works in the name of God. Yeah. Right? I don't have to do them. And that's what true love is, right? Because love, if I have to love you, am I really loving you?
Yeah.
Nope.
Love is not love until I can freely choose to do it. Until someone opens the door and says, you can actually leave me. And I shut the door and I say, no, I'm sticking with you. That's what this whole Christianity thing is about. And no other religion does that, bro. Like it's all like they're all so works based. It's all like you gotta work your way into heaven. And God's like, nah, bro. I'm here. Like here right now in this room. I'm here, and I just want to show you how to. I just want to show you what life is like with me. That's the beauty of it. But thank you for sharing that about your friend who's an atheist. I hope that what's her name?
Her name is Karina.
Karina, we love you. God loves you, and I hope that one day you meet God in a meaningful way.
Hey man, Jake, that was a perfect answer. That's honestly what I was gonna say. So I'm glad you said it. Like I feel like I'm a broken record when it comes to that. Like I start off most of my messages in that way. The unique aspect of Christianity is that it's not what we could do for God, but it's what God did for us. Like that right there, that's perfectly why all religions are not the same. Emma, my encouragement to you with your friend would be to just be an open ear and just listen and ask questions. Ask her why, because like what Jonathan was saying earlier is so true. Every atheist at the core of their being is hurt in one way or the other. They've either been hurt by religion, they've been hurt by what they've seen those self-professing Christians or other religions of what they've done to them. So it's always from a place of hurt that they come to this. And some of the greatest Christians and even the greatest pastors I know have been atheists at some point in their life, because it's those who are willing to challenge their belief in God or like question whether there is a God or not. When they do come to the realization that there is a God, their faith is so much stronger.
Yeah.
So much stronger. So yeah, definitely don't give up on your friend and definitely be a listening ear and just ask God for wisdom. Ask God to give you, like, God, show me the areas where she's hurt so I can speak into them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think another thing to like kind of piggybacking piggybacking off of like why Christianity is kind of different than other religions. I think, and this is kind of our talking point for today, but like sin is like addressed. It is one of those things that I think a lot of people might look at the Bible and think it's a very they probably think of it as like the Ten Commandments, like, oh, you know, there's a lot of talk about the good and the bad, right? Not the middle in betweens. If you look at a lot of the stories in the Bible, we're looking at people that have God used them, but yet they sin. Or like we look at Israel, God calls Israel and they sin, right? And there's this human heart issue that keeps on reoccurring.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think that really does set Christianity apart because how it addresses sin, it deals with sin, it talks about it.